like that. But that's what we're doing. So we're updating our conversion object. Again, single source of truth for the data. Then we're saying, okay, queue up a convert job in the queue for as soon as possible. So this is just saying right now, joystick's queue will automatically run that job if it's just right now. It's a time thing. So it's basically like, is there anything greater than equal to right now? I forget the exact logic that I used or the query that I used, but that's effectively it. I'm saying, okay, if this job was scheduled to run at now or in the past, run it. So that's why I'm saying, okay, start it at this timestamp, because that effectively is run immediately. And so, and I don't remember if I got rid of this. You can technically do this with joystick. I don't like it because it's not as explicit about what's happening. You can pass a string now, but I use that sparingly because this is concrete. And I tend, even when I have a really, really good abstraction or something that like, yeah, okay, that would pass go as an abstraction, I sometimes just don't use them because I'm like, well, that I know in my head what that means immediately. Right, so kind of food for thought. Like you can, use abstractions to the nth degree, but remember, each abstraction requires you to understand that abstraction, be able to know how that abstraction gets applied, so on and so forth. So, in some cases, it's like, yeah, if I haven't touched that thing in a year, and it's just not fresh in my memory, I won't even bother. Now, a now string, no, that's a small example, but you can think of bigger things where it's like, yeah. I haven't touched that in so long. Unless it's absolutely like necessary for me to use it in this case, or it would be beneficial for me to use in this case, I'll just skip it for the time being because it's like, well, is that having any material impact on what the system is doing or what the software is doing? No. Most cases, no. Again, judgment and taste. This is why that matters and why an LLM won't catch that stuff, because it's only predicting the next token. So even if it spits out code that's working or plausible at the very least, it still doesn't have a frame of reference or understanding for, well, the now versus new date and why subjectively I might want to prefer one over the other. It could just as well read my docs and say, oh, well, you're trying to run it now, so let's just run it now. But for me personally, as the person responsible for maintaining that system or evolving that system, we'll say, I want it this way. And it's okay to do that. So if you've ever been nervous about like, well, that's not how anybody else does, like there's I'm not going to look it up. I will encourage you to look it up. The movie Boiler Room, there's a great scene with Ben Affleck where he's giving a speech to all these new trainees at this stockbroker firm. I won't spoil the story, but in the speech that he's giving them, he talks about people telling you might be wrong or something like that. And I always say this to my wife and friends and stuff. He's like, they're probably going to say that's not a lot of money. That's not that big of an opportunity. And then he cuts and he's just like, fuck them, fuck them. And that's how I think about it with this stuff. It's like, who gives a shit if other people are doing exactly what you're doing? Are you getting the results you're after? Are you happy with it? And do you understand it? Those are the only questions you have to ask. Whatever the fuck some guy in Nebraska is doing, or somewhere overseas, like, it doesn't fucking matter. If you can learn from them, great. If you can pick something up that improves your own process or your own well-being, because I was wasting 30 minutes on this task before, but this guy from Hyderabad just gave me this thing that makes it possible to do it in 30 seconds. Sweet. Incorporate it in your process. Keep going. Don't worry about what the fuck everybody else is doing, because more often than not, their opinions are completely irrelevant to you and to your team and to what you're building. You again, learn from others, but don't just blindly submit to their process, right? Because if it doesn't fit, if the puzzle piece doesn't fit, and you instinctively have that kind of reaction to it, you're like, I know they're telling me this is the way to do this, but it doesn't feel right. It's okay to just be like, I'm going to try something else. So that's how I'm thinking about this. And if you're like, wait a minute, I've never seen anybody do it like that before. Like, well, that's why. Because I've come to that conclusion myself. Like, no, this is what makes me cozy. I like to wear my Snuggie and sit on the couch. I don't have a Snuggie, but assuming I did, I like to wear my Snuggie and watch my Oprah, right? That makes me feel good. That makes my systems feel under control. That's a personal thing, dude. You know? Some people like a zebra stripe gum. Some don't. Some may not even know what the hell I'm talking about. But if you haven't tried zebra stripe gum, and they are, I'm pretty sure they're still making it. Get some. Try it. It's an adventure. Kids love it. I digress again. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot. Let's take a little breather here. So we are going to now queue up